Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at the MarketSite studio in Times Square, New York City, we have George Nichols, CEO of the American College of Financial Services, to discuss what the financial services industry needs to go and the voids that needs to be filled. It is great to have you with us, George. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill, for having me.
So you're heading towards your centennial in 2027. Tell us more about the college.
Sure. We are focused on, we're an accredited nonprofit organization focused on providing financial designations for advisors. In addition to that, we also provide information to consumers. Been around for about 100 years, providing what we call foundational financial planning, and then other things that financial advisors do to serve their clients.
So let's talk about the strategic areas where the industry needs to go, which is a good time to talk about it now, considering the wealth transfers that we're going to see with baby boomers aging out and so forth, and some of the areas that need to fill that void. The first one being elevating professionals' expertise.
Yes. So think about it that most advisors get a CFP, so they're getting the foundation of financial planning. Our belief is they know a lot about a little. Our goal is to help them specialize in the retirement, in the estate planning, into special needs, into philanthropy. We recognize that every American is going to go through something where they're going to need more specialization. We found that advisors make more money when they're actually niched. And so our goal is, let's make sure you get the foundation and the comprehensive financial planning, but then let's help you really specialize to address the needs that most Americans are going to face.
And one of those areas is retirement planning, for
sure. Of course. It is probably the number one. So one of our strategic focus when we think about this specialization is really to go even deeper on the retirement space. And we look at it from three perspectives. First of all, let's think of it as a life cycle. Everybody's focused on asset aggregation right now at 55 and get you ready and then on get your income level. But really what you should be thinking about is there's a continuum. There's young people thinking about retirement. They're not thinking about income. They're thinking about retirement. But what are their particular needs? And if you bring people along in their life cycle, what are their particular needs at each individual stage? So that's the first thing. The second thing is lifestyle. We talk about lifestyle. I want you to put all your money back so I can let you live a good life. But really, are we sitting down talking to you about what is it you want to do? Where are you at now? How's that lifestyle? And how do we make the investments for you when you get to the place that you are when you're retiring? The third thing is something that we believe is really important, that's behavior. None of us are paying attention to culturally how you've learned about money, how you individually think about money, whether you like to spend, whether you like to save it. And so our belief is if we can help you look at the whole continuum so that we're looking at your individual needs, where you are, then look at the lifestyle you are at and where you want to go to, and then recognizing the culture and the behavioral issues that actually are driving how you think about money, how you think about investments, how you actually think about retirement.
The third strategic area in my mind, which I think is a void that needs to be filled, is diversity in the industry, and not even that, but accessibility for all Americans to have access to financial planners.
I should almost let you tell the story.
There you go, have a new
okay?
job.
You really
there you go.
That's I'm really done. But really the thing is, we're looking at access on both ends of this. And that is, we've got to make sure that every American has access to the products that are going to help them have a better life and have financial security. But also, the industry has to understand that we've got to have more representation in order to serve that diversified client base that we're doing. So we're trying to put them together. Now, for the college, we wrap this whole thing up as saying, we've got to move away from it's just the advisor. There's interconnectivity between the advisor and the consumer. And so we believe that we've got to make sure we're educating both of them in order for this partnership to work and be successful.
So it sounds like these three strategic areas, they're all integrated.
Totally integrated, and that's the exciting thing. Now we'll tell you, we're getting ready, as you said, to celebrate our 100 years. We historically have only focused on the advisor. This is the evolution. This is how we're really rethinking this specialty component, the retirement component, and the access component of let's now bring the consumer. And part of our mission statement says to benefit society. That is the consumer piece that we have to bring.
When you think about the industry evolving, is there enough recruitment being done to get the next gen of advisor?
I don't think that there is. Now, there's a recognition that over the next 10 to 15 years, there's going to be a lot of retirements coming out of the advisor space, and most of them are going to be white males that have done very well. But when you look at where the demographics are and where you're going to be able to recruit from, it's going to be a much more diverse. We're not prepared for that. We're still recruiting under the same model we've been recruiting under for the last 100 years, which means let me go find the people that I know, bring them in. Oh, did your kid go to college where I went to college? Then we're doing the exact same thing. We're trying to offer scholarships, access, going to communities and saying, hey, let us introduce you to the financial services industry. Let's take people who look like you and bring them down to your community so you can see it, and then try to bring people in. The other thing I think is really important is that in our programs, we don't require you to have a bachelor's. Because when you think about access, I mean, if you read all the media right now, it's talking about it's going to be more a skills-based approach in the future. We actually believe that it is going to be a skills-based. So if you think of our applied knowledge, I'm going to teach you the skills. And so I don't want to put up blockers or barriers that don't allow people to come into the marketplace and be these advisors. And so we're trying to look at everything that we do so that access is real. We bring you in, we skill you up, and then you focus on those things that we think are right, that are really focused on what the client is asking for.
Plus, technology has changed, or is really starting to change the industry. So you want to think about next gen, because apps are available. People are, I'd say the younger generation tend to be more self-directed, but they also want someone that they're able to bounce ideas off of. So I think marrying, my advisor is someone that looks like me and understands my particular situation, but we can also use technology to, alter the process a bit.
And it's really important when we talk to advisors and consumers. Technology is a tool. That's exactly what it is. I have friends who couldn't wait for robo-advisors to come out. They went to robo-advisors, they got their information. You know what they did? George, this is what it recommended to me. What do you think? The human element is always going to be there. And so we want to make sure that is there, and how people understand how technology is going to drive how we can deliver, but it's still going to be that human-to-human interaction. The other thing that I think is so important is that we have found in most of our research that advisors are selling and delivering what they're incentivized to sell and deliver. The future is going to require that we are paying attention to what consumers want and need, and we're delivering that. It's product agnostic. It is really about what are the wants and needs for them to have financial security, and how do I deliver that?
Well, that's how you're seeing fintechs become more so successful, because you're not going to. So that's an interesting question, though. Do you think you'll see perhaps a migration from the wirehouses or the larger wealth management shops into smaller independent shops for that reason, where they're not forced to push a particular product?
I think there is going to be growth. When we look at where the growth is right now in financial advisors, it's moving to those independent offices, those small offices, because they feel like they have more flexibility to address what your particular needs are. And then the question then becomes, who are they partnering with that's going to give them the services, the access to technology to be more creative? Now, one other component I think that is going to go with technology is teaming. No one is going to have all the expertise. And so your ability to have a good relationship, a trusting relationship with your client, and then to be able to build the right team around you, because every one of us is going to need a specialized component of our financial plan. I will tell you, I never thought I'd need an elder care lawyer. I'm developing my estate plan for my family. My father has Alzheimer's. I need my lawyer went and got an elder care lawyer to help us understand what did I need to put in my financial package to take care of my father if I died before him.
Yeah, well, plus you're seeing all the outsourcing now too, because of fintech companies like that outsource your operations, outsource your compliance, rather than having to organically spend that money to build the teams.
You have to do that, but it really is, this whole teaming concept I think is really going to be big. So now just imagine that I've got partnerships in the teaming concept, whether there's specialization. I have a specialization, my other people have that, and you bring the technology together. Now if we use those two things and we're focused on what does the client need,
right,
and then I'm delivering, I think we got to win.
All right, George, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.